All right. I got that there. Make sure. Yeah, that's good. I was going to do a nice long flight today and fly to like Santa Rosa, New Mexico. And then I woke up this morning and wasn't feeling well. Like I just had a hangover from last night. Went did some other stuff, and then it was like noon. I came back and I'm like, I'm gonna do this. We're gonna take off. We're gonna do the flight, and we'll be done by about 5-6 o'clock. About 6 hours of flying. And then got my VR headset in my hand, ready to turn it on, put it on, and everything. And I just was like, I have a headache, and I feel like I'm about to throw up because again, hangover. So I'm like, I'm just gonna lay down for a few minutes, and then it was like 4 or 3 o'clock when I woke up. And I'm like, well, if I started now, it'd be 9 o'clock, and I don't want to do that because I haven't even ate yet. So I ate some lunch and everything, and here we are now. Just gonna fly around Vegas for a little bit, make sure that the stream's working how I want it to. The last few things I've configured differently to see if those help at all. Yes, I know my controller batteries are low. I'm not using my controller for this. Magneto to both. Mixture full. Crack the throttle. Fuel pumps on. Fuel selectors selected. Plane's on. Let it warm up for a minute while I go ahead and Vegas is 116.9. We're flying RNAV, and we're flying with the Microsoft Flight Simulator multiplayer mode. We're flying up to Betty, flying over the Nevada test range area where they did the nuclear blast test. I kind of want to see that from in the air, in quotes there. And then we'll come back here and land at North Las Vegas Airport, since that's where we're at. This is one of the things that I've been practicing a lot with this aircraft, is just flying it in RNAV and playing around in VR, so that way I can do proper navigation, but so that way I can eventually get back into flying on VATS. I used to do it all the time in X-Plane, flying airliners, and I was always really uncomfortable because I was like, I barely know what I'm doing in terms of actually controlling the aircraft. Like I can fly a plane, I know how to do this part in this part of the plane, but navigation and autopilot and communications with air traffic controller, that was always my kind of weak point. So kind of just taking it easy and just really practicing it a lot here in a smaller aircraft, and then probably I'll eventually start flying in VATSIM with this aircraft. I plan this summer too is to do some upgrades on my computer if I can. I know a lot of people say this because they want to do it and it's impossible right now because graphics cards are impossible to find, but if I can, I would love to upgrade my graphics cards just so I can have a better stream and a better higher fidelity for my VR. I had to reduce the render quality, render size down to 50% here and I have to use a mod to get rid of the propeller because my little compass up there, when the propeller's spinning in VR, the compass becomes blurry. So it's like, I think that's a graphics thing. So. Taxiing down runway 25. We're gonna take off. We're gonna fly runway heading. We're about 4,000 feet, and then we'll turn and head direct Betty and climb to about 6,000 feet. Once we get to Betty, we'll either land there at the Betty airport and take a look around, or we'll just turn and head back to Vegas. Holding short of runway 25 left. There's a wire underneath one of my pedals. We'll just do 2 notches of natural flaps. Beacon light's on. Taxi light is off. Landing light on. I know I'm saying, I need to learn more about communication and ATC and stuff, but right now it's just practice flying the airplane. Let's get familiar with flying the plane, familiar with navigation and the very limited, functionality that the aircraft does have in terms of all that. And then we'll practice with ATC. So right now there's no practice. I'm not worrying about contacting tower or anything. I just want to practice flying this aircraft. Up. Oh, and I forgot to turn my transponder on. I want to turn up just so that way, if there is anyone out there who is using ATC, and the Microsoft Flight Simulator ATC is really kind of broken. So I don't even know if someone else's ATC would acknowledge, register that, hey, there's an aircraft just doing whatever. Avoid him. If we look, there's a ton of people at Las Vegas airport. Because today, right now, they're Biden and everybody are here for the memorial for Henry Reid? I'm not sure. I'm terrible with names. And so everyone's simulating being Air Force One or the fighter jets escorting them, and I'm just I'm going to avoid Vegas because someone's going to pretend to get a missile lock on me and then ram me, and my plane's going to crash. Oh, we have the VOR there. There we go. I'm going to get a little bit of altitude to pick up that radio, that VOR. Go ahead and... that's the heading we need to fly. We're going to turn and head direct to Betty now. I'm keeping that at full power right now just while we climb up. We're about 4,000. 4,500. I'm just watching my compass heading there, watching my airspeed. We're getting a little nose up. There's an artificial horizon, but also scanning the horizon in front of me. still want to try and land a float plane in one of those lakes down there sometime. Look at all those player names out there. Whoop. So that mountain right there, center screen, that's a lone mountain. And it's a random, well, it's not random, but it's just a mountain that just is there. And it doesn't show it here because it's a little bit older imagery, but like that whole area is just full of houses now, like all around, pretty much up to the base of that mountain. It's kind of ridiculous how many houses are there. How many houses in this city in general? Just a lot of people. There's so much urban sprawl. Well, 5,500 feet. Still climbing. I'm gonna try and get up to about 6,000. So that should be high enough to get over these mountains. Not quite sure. We'll find out when we crash into one of them. What's nice about this is the 152. So that's 152. It's just the stock one that comes with the game. No autopilot. Nothing fancy like that. I'm just using the trim tab here. Okay, something's not right here. Something's not right. I'm hitting the trim down button and it's not doing anything. Okay, so elevator trim down. Okay, so the button is working, just I think it's worn out. Like, I'm hitting it, and nothing was happening, and then I realized, oh, that button, maybe I have to get in there and bend the spring. Pull the mixture back. I'll find it's a little off heading here for a bit. Try and get parallel these mountains for a bit. Turn that light off. Turn that off. It's gonna be dark by the time we come back to Vegas. That'll be fun. I said this in another video the other day. I was going to take a trip, I'm planning a trip at least on my motorcycle to ride to Austin, Texas from Las Vegas, where I live. And so my kind of harebrained idea is to fly almost the same route that I would be driving if I were to be, fly the same route I would be driving, just playing in VR. And kind of the big flight that I wanted to do today, I didn't really get a chance to. I fell asleep on the couch. But then after that, like, obviously live stream it and just do it hardcore mode. Like, I'm in VR. I'm not gonna get up out of my chair to do anything as long as the plane is moving. Like, I will land. Like, if I have to go to the bathroom, I will land before I get out of my seat here to go to the bathroom. And thinking about that, I'm like, maybe that'll be my new like Friday night thing. So playing Run 8, fly VR, and fly cross country in this plane, just in like little 2-3 hour long flights. I don't know, it's something that I thought about. That right there is a fun road to ride. It goes up and it goes kind of back that way into the backside of Mount Charleston. And actually it does connect with another road at the other side of Mount Charleston. You can go up there and nice place to go. Be away from the city for a bit. I would have gone, I really want to go up there on my new bike and to get some video of riding up there and then just be up there, but it's winter and there's a lot of snow on those mountains. And I don't want to ride where it's that cold. One of the things that's kind of interesting, and I like about the multiplayer here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, Flight Sim 2020. Whoa, hit my windshield there. Is if you're in like a populated city around the major airport or whatever, you get a lot more just random people doing whatever. Like, I fly around Vegas a lot, and it's like I see a lot of people just flying fighter jets down the strip. Obviously stuff that you wouldn't do in the real world. As soon as you get out of the city, you do see a lot more just people just flying those long haul flights. And I bet you anything, like that guy there in that D-72, what's that? Ritual Scroll. That's a silly name. It's probably just doing the same thing I'm doing, just having a good time flying. Guy in the DA-62 Weebler there, he's probably doing the same thing. Util Gates Jr. probably is out there having fun doing stuff that he can't really do. Or maybe he's practicing, flying in at Creech Air Force Base, which is over there. Playmar is either active paused or he's really good at maintaining altitude. checking the stream on my phone. I was like, wow, it actually seems really smooth. Make sure my audio is working properly. Checking the stream. Let's divert a bit. I'm gonna just fly out this way. I'm gonna keep the plane in the sun as much as possible. Keep it a little warm. I want to also fly out over this way because that flat spot, I believe that's where they did all the nuclear tests here in Vegas. Mew222. Wow, that's a name. We're getting a little turbulence here, I think. Another thing I want to kind of do is just fly for a bit and to Betty and back, and see how the battery on the Quest is. Even if I've got it plugged in, it still drains the battery to use it. And like, if it turns out that I can only VR for 5 hours or 4 hours, and not 8 or 9 before I have to pause and break for a few minutes, let the thing recharge, then that's gonna put a little bit of a hamper on my big flight that I'm probably gonna push. I'm pushing it to next weekend on a Saturday afternoon. Flying a plane with one hand. I've got one hand on the yoke. I've got my left hand on that corner of the yoke, and just gently rocking the plane in the direction you need to go. And it's kind of like that hold that you do when you're driving your car, and you don't have your hand on the outside of the wheel. You get your hand like on that little member right there, just kind of just a little there, because the plane wants to keep banking to the right, banking to the left, and I'm countering it by banking to the right. throttling up a little bit. I was pretty much doing like 60 knots. Really slow. I can fly this plane about 70, 80. Probably a little more stable at that speed. Trying to balance the mixture a little bit. Only thing I have to go off of is RPMs. Go ahead and turn here now. It'll take a while to get over there, and I want to hit up Betty now. Yeah, we could fly over that way. Man, it's taking forever. Trying to get the plane to like not be bouncing up and down, and it's like, all right, you're two nose down, you're losing altitude. Give it a touch of nose up pitch on the trim. And suddenly I'm going up way too high. Or touching nose down. And it's the opposite. Problem is too, is like my switch isn't working to adjust the pitch trim in one direction, so it's like nothing happens, a lot happens. That guy's getting close enough I can see his lights on his plane blinking. lights stopped blinking, and... Oh, no, they're there. We just desynced for a minute. It's like, did he crash? I hope he didn't crash. Town over there. I wonder what town that is. Look at all the people in Barbados. Ugh. Too many of them. Too many people. Drink, I do. That's one thing I'm gonna do. If I'm gonna do like a really long flight with VR, I'm gonna have to have a drink with like a straw. Probably what I'll end up doing next Saturday is like going and getting lunch and getting like a big tall drink or something, and then like go to like McDonald's and get like 2 large Cokes. If you ever notice, I keep looking right there at that pillar. I have, in my VR view, I have a chat window right there open, so I can see at least Twitch chat. The thing you're not supposed to do where I stare directly at the sun. You know, staring at the sun, if you get sunlight in your VR, it burns it out. Brum-tis. It's actually a common thing I see people complain about on like the VR subreddits. Like, can I play with my VR outside? You know, like, yes, just don't let the sunlight hit the lenses because you'll fry the screens. And then someone will post a picture of like, I have this weird blob in the middle of my screen. What is this? And everyone's like, you let the sunlight hit your VR and it hit those lenses, which the way the lenses in a VR headset work, it acts like a reverse magnifying glass and it acts like a magnifying glass, and you just melted the screen inside your VR headset. Well, how do I fix it? You get a new headset. That's how you fix it. Fortunate enough, the only thing that's broke on my headset is the strap itself. I bought the Elite strap, and that broke because they made it cheap plastic. I fixed it, it broke again, I fixed it again, it broke a 3rd time, and I said, I'm not bothering fixing it a 3rd time. So I went back to the regular cloth strap that comes base with the Quest, and I'm actually really happy with it. I like it, it works, it's comfortable. It's actually a little bit better than the Elite strap, I think. And one of the snaps on, or one of the keepers that you use to adjust, pull the strap through, one of those is broke, so it's like every few minutes I have to reach up and just cinch that down, especially if I take the headset on and off at all. we gotta be getting. We gotta be getting close to Betty. No, we're not. That's where we're flying to. Although. Is my compass? One of the things I noticed, I reduced the render setting, render quality, or scaling. Render scaling, that's what it is. Reduce the render. Alright, compass might have been off. Because it's like I'm locked onto where is it? That VOR. Oh yeah, now we were. I was just, why was I? You know what, I was looking at this and thinking that's the VORs. That's the VOR, that's the airport, that's at Betty. Okay, so we are on track. I thought the compass was horribly off whack and we were flying in the wrong direction this whole time. On one hand, like when you go on a long drive, you know, there's that point when you're in the drive where it's just like, all right, you're just sitting here, cruise control set, you're not really doing anything. It gets really boring, and I'm feeling that right now. It's like, okay, a little bored now, but at the same time, it's like this is actually really relaxing. Jessica Kumi, hey, happy New Year to you too. Ugh. Still recovering from that hangover I had this morning. Oh. Things pitching around. Well, I'm in Las Vegas. It's about 4 or 5 hours to Eagly. I've been up there a few times, and in fact, I want to go up there again this summer on my bike, just because it is a really nice trip up there. Like once, like if you're in Vegas and you go to Ely, you hop on the 15, and you go just past Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and you get off at like, I think it's 93, and then it's pretty much for about the first like 4 or 5 miles, it's regular like freeway, but then it just becomes 2-lane road all the way to Ely, and you go through some really nice small towns. and some areas that I would absolutely love to ride my motorcycle through. And why I haven't done that yet is because I bought my motorcycle in the end of, October. It's now December. Or actually, no, it's January. It's very cold going north. They have snow up there in Ely, so I'm going to wait until the springtime. Let's see, on a motor, so last time I drove, and we were doing about 80 the whole way, and we only stopped twice. Like, we stopped at the halfway point to get gas, go to the bathroom, and get some food. And I think we stopped one other time on the way up there, too, to go to the bathroom, because we'd ate breakfast. On a motorcycle, it's going to take you a little longer. It's because you have to stop more often for gas. Yeah, it was all the 93. Actually, I went up there once on my motorcycle, on my other bike, the one that was stolen. And that was interesting because I rolled into Ely at like 11:45 at night. And I rolled in. Now, I didn't ride in, I rolled in because I had ran out of gas. And coasted like the last mile to the gas station. We went there just for the Nevada Northern. We went up there just for a day. I think what I would love to do is go up there like Friday night after work. Just leave work and ride straight up there and get there. Like, it would be later in the evening, obviously, when I would get there. But find like a hotel or something and just spend a weekend up there. Originally, the plan was we were going to go up there and we were going to do the Nevada Northern has a thing where it's like $80 a night. You can sleep in a caboose. So we were going to go up there like Saturday morning, visit the town, ride the train and everything, and then stay the night in the caboose, and then come back Sunday morning. But then, with all the COVID restrictions and everything at the time, they couldn't do that. I like living in a city because it's convenient and I can just like, oh, it's 3 in the morning, I want to go to McDonald's. And I can go to McDonald's because everything's 24/7. But there is something nice about just small, little, rinky-dink towns like that. Where it's just like, there's a gas station and that's it. I stopped in the little town of Paiuchi? I believe that's how it's pronounced. Probably not. I'm probably mispronouncing it. And that's all it is. It's like 2 gas stations and like a grocery store. And I'm like, I would love this town. Love to stay in the town for like a weekend. Never been to Jackpot, but I have touched Jackpot. I am planning a trip this summer. So the bar I go to, there's a whole like Facebook group for people who are fans of that bar, and then there's a subgroup for all the people who are fans of that bar and ride motorcycles. And a couple of my other friends are all talking about buying bikes here soon. And I've already kind of pitched the idea of doing like a fandom riders weekend trip up to Reno. like leave Vegas before sunrise. So like 5 a.m. leave Vegas. You get to Reno by 2, 3. 'Cause it's about an 8-hour trip up there. And then spend the afternoon, evening in Reno, and then leave Reno by like noon. Get back in Vegas by like 8 p.m. That's kind of the tentative plan. But I'm waiting for all my friends to get their motorcycles and get everything squared away. Not all of them have their licenses yet and have their motorcycles. Hell, I might just do that trip myself and just go solo because it'd be fun. Well, I've driven to Reno before, and yeah, it's a lot of it is pretty crazy. There's an airport over there. Yeah, I mean, from my experience, driving and riding around Vegas, it's like I feel safer on those backcountry roads where there's crazy drivers, but there's fewer of them. They're more spread out. Where it's like, yesterday on my way home from work, it was just crazy drivers everywhere. Take 50 from Carson City to Tahoe. Yeah, my only concern with like these big long rides is like, that's 8 hours, right? To go from Vegas to Reno. That's a day. That is a full day. And if I'm going to go up to Reno or do any of that stuff, I want to be able to actually go to that town and enjoy it. I don't want to leave and go to Reno and sleep and then come back and get a hotel in Reno and come back as soon as I wake up. I want to leave early and all that. So, although because I don't work weekends anymore, I might, once I get some vacation time, like that trip to Reno that I want to take, I might be like, all right, we're going to leave first thing Friday morning, go up to Reno, spend the day there, then we're going to ride around the Reno area Saturday, and then we'll come home Sunday, or do our own thing. We'll go up there and do our own things up there. I don't know. It's a lot of, it's the beginning of the year. I can really take some time to plan this stuff out, figure out what I want to do. I've already got one trip planned for February to go to California for a LARP event. So that'll be fun. Keep drifting way off course because I'm looking at that pillar and you don't see it, but that's where I have my chat window up so I can read your messages. Realize I've climbed up to 1,200 feet. Yeah, that's kind of what I want to do it like April maybe. Take that Reno trip maybe in April. Because I've been up April, May. The one time I went up to Reno, it was March, I think, and there was like still snow on the ground in Reno. It was just cold enough that like we left Vegas, had the AC on in the car, and then halfway up there we had to turn the heat on. The question is, we're flying up towards Betty right now. I do eventually want to visit Lake Tahoe. Again, that's all, you're still new. Now, the big question here. Big question. We're flying up to Betty. I've got enough fuel. We could land at Betty and call it a day. Or we could turn and head back to Vegas when we get up there. I did that. I went on a trip once, and I told my coworkers, "Hey, I'm going out of town. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't nothing, because I'm leaving my phone at home." Actually, I left my phone in the car the whole time because I didn't want to have it near me. Yeah, that's one of the things I used to do on my old bike. Is I would go out for like an afternoon and just be like, I would text like a couple people like, "Hey, I'm going out for a ride. I'm going to mute Discord. I'm going to mute my D&D chat. I'm not going to answer any texts. I'm not going to answer any phone calls." And then I would just ride for like 4 or 5 hours. I did that last week. I went up and I posted a video on my YouTube channel. I went up and I rode through Red Rock Canyon. And it was only like 2 hours of riding. It was still nice to just be out there. Just... I kind of get that same relaxing freedom feeling sitting here in VR in my plane. Even though it's like I'm still at home. I could easily just take the headset off and walk away. But I'm immersed in the game experience with the VR, and the fact that I actually have a yoke, and I have the radio panel, and I have the switch panel, although I have them set up right here on the passenger seat, because I originally set all this up as my, airliner cockpit configuration. So, if I want to adjust the radio, you see me looking over here because I'm either peeking through the nose of the VR to make sure I'm pushing the right button, or I'm just leaning over there to feel around. I might move that stack right here where it actually is. The problem is that's also where my mouse pointer is. My mouse, or not my mouse pointer, but where the radio stack is right here. It's where my mouse sits on my desk, so I couldn't really put the radio stack right there. I want to, don't know if I could. Maybe I'll figure something out, I don't know. I want to go up to Oregon. That's one of those things where I'll probably, like, once I have more vacation time, I'll take like a week off of work and go like on a big long ride. Like, the whole point of me experimenting with flying in VR right now and doing these long flights, and I said this earlier, and I don't know if you caught it or not, I want to take a trip to Austin, Texas. Probably not this year, probably next year, depending on money and COVID and everything. But the whole plan was to fly the route that I would be riding in VR for the, at least the most of the route, or as close approximation of the route as I could get. And the ride itself is going to be 2 days. Each day is 9 hours long of riding, 9-10 hours of riding, with fuel stops, restroom stops, and food stops. It's probably going to be closer to 11-12 hours a day of riding, so that's going to be brutal. To fly it in this plane would be, I think I did the math, and it would be about 6 or 7 hours of flying with one fuel stop each way, on each leg of a flight. So it would be 4 legs of a flight, basically. But I went out last night, got a pretty nasty hangover. Woke up this morning, was feeling fine, ate breakfast, checked out my local model railroad club, but I was on the fence about joining. I'm still kind of am. See how that plays, how I feel about that in a day or two after I think about it. And then I came home, got all ready to fly. My head was pounding to the point where just putting the VR headset up to my face, I felt like I was going to throw up. Not because I get motion sick in VR, but just because I was hungover. And so I'm like, I'm just going to lay down and take a nap. This was like 11:45. 3:30 rolls around. I'm like, oh man, I slept for like 3.5 hours. I feel better now. I don't have a hangover anymore. I don't feel like I'm about to throw up. But now it's too late to do a 6-7 hour long flight. So I'll just do I'll do something else just to make sure that all my settings and changes I've been making to everything are actually improving the quality of the stream. Now, my only problem with that, the food, people tell me the food in Texas is great. I am not a food person. I don't like eating. I find eating to be a inconvenience. It's like, man, I have to stop what I'm doing and eat a sandwich or I'll die. Wow. Just like sleep. Sleep is an inconvenience. Wow, I have to stop what I'm doing and sleep for 8 hours or I'll die? So it's like everyone tells me, oh, it's a great city for food. I'll go there for a bar. I know there's a lot of great bars down there. Do I do photography? Yeah, in fact, I don't have my camera on, my webcam on, but I recently rearranged my whole desk and I have all of my camera gear and camera lenses, even all of my GoPro stuff, sitting right here on the wall behind me. Like I have a little shelf right here. And so when I do go riding, I usually carry my DLSR with me. And you can find me on Instagram. I post some of the photos that I take from when I'm riding on Instagram. Same username as on my Twitch channel. I usually take them and then get home and then edit them a little bit and send them to Instagram. Whereabouts are we map-wise? Oh, we're getting close to Betty. I think according to... You know, there's an airstrip right there. A tiny little one right there. Yeah, if I actually was in this plane right now, flying, if I didn't have somebody sitting here, I'd have my camera right here, and I'd probably be like taking my camera and going, click, click. We're doing on fuel. We're pretty good on fuel. Sun is setting, so it's going to be dark in Vegas. It'll be dark by the time I get to Betty. I really do love the lighting here in Flight Sim 2020s. It's like... If I had a hotkey to turn off, like, I know what setting it is to turn off all the player names. I wish I had a hotkey that I could toggle it on and off. If I didn't have those, and I didn't have that chat box floating right there, it'd be like, wow, I'm having a hard time discerning whether or not this is real. In fact, there's a lot of streetlights on the road, kind of, a lot more streetlights than there actually is out here. It does kind of ruin it a little bit. Like, that town right there probably doesn't have a single streetlight. And in fact, I've ridden on that road there at night. It does not have streetlights. Data full class is probably active paused. I want to see people just, their altitude isn't changing. I'm wondering if either it's desync or they're just paused. I got a guy flying a 787? B786 and a 787. Just cruising along, 39,000. Somebody at 29,000 over there. Floating right around 1,200 feet. I wonder if that guy's just sitting on the top of a mountain or if he's paused. I almost want to fly over there and see. Again, I'm going to pose this to anyone in chat. Should we land at Betty and call it a night there and say, yes, this was a good little test flight, or should we turn around and head back to Vegas? With all of that traffic and air traffic and everything that's down there. I'm gonna have to head back to Vegas. I'm doing that thing where it's like I fly in whatever airport that I last landed at is the airport that I take off again. I don't teleport to another airport. If I want to fly in my hometown, I have another airplane. Not this plane, but I have a different airplane in my hometown. And I eventually do want to fly across country in VR in this plane. And like I said earlier, it'd be like one of those things where it'd be like a 2 or 3 hour long little flight. Just gonna go ahead and turn my cabin lighting on. I wish this knob right here did something. It's supposed to turn the backlights on the gauges, and it doesn't. All those people behind me. It's all people flying around Vegas, big cities. only took about an hour to get this far, so we'll land at Betty and top off fuel. I think I've got enough fuel to make it back to Vegas, but I'd rather top off before heading back. And also, that'll give me a moment to use the restroom when we land. Like a spot in the back of my head that's like, it feels like there's something pressing there. I don't have a hair tie there. I don't have any wire pinching, so I don't know why the back of my head has a spot that feels like there's something pressing hard into it. I believe that right there in front of me, right there. I think that's the airstrip for Betty. That's Betty up there. I'm reducing power, so we'll start our descent. And we'll come in from the south heading north, but we're going to basically circle the airport as we descend. We'll kind of go through that little gap there in the mountains, come around the other side. All going to be a big left-hand circle turn here. Or I could actually, what I could even do, I wonder if Betty even has approach charts. It doesn't. It does not have charts. Cool. That's fun.
Bravo Tango Yankee, traffic Cessna November 623 Alpha Foxtrot, 8 miles southeast, 10,800 feet inbound to land, runway 16.
Not that anyone's monitoring that frequency, but if anyone was. Basically, we're going to follow the road on our initial approach here. Fly over the town. Fly over that big facility there at the outskirts. Fly down over that way and come in for a nice gentle landing. Along that riverbed, kind of. I'm like, alright, let's look straight ahead, and it's showing me that the airport's there in the mountain. But I can see the airstrip right there, and if I look at my map, I can see it right there as well, so... A ton of betting, people just eating dinner, whatever, just relaxing, enjoying a Saturday night. Plane comes flying in. Wow, that's weird. Never seen a plane here before. A long time. But a long time since the plane came to this town. I'm just cutting power, letting the plane kind of come down on its own. We're coming a little fast, a little steep, but... turbulence a little bumpy right there. Bring a full mixture for landing. And you know, actually, what I'm thinking, I think I'm going to land it and call it a night for streaming. And the whole reason is I'm hungry. I haven't had anything to eat since this morning. Probably going to go get some food. And then I'll probably do this flight back to Vegas like tomorrow first thing in the morning, but I'll do that off stream. We are bringing her around. Yeah, someone in the tower realized, oh, there's a plane and he actually wants to land. Let's turn them lights on for him. Once we cross 5,000 feet, though, it will be sterile cockpit. I won't be talking anymore. I'm just going to be focused 100% on landing the plane. We are getting close to it. All right, 5,000 feet, sterile cockpit. Another crowded Betty. A little steep there, but a little fast. But actually, I felt like that was a pretty smooth landing. I have no idea where, like, parking is here. I see some hangars up here, so I'm going to assume it's down here by the tower. Parking brakes set. Alright, we can go ahead and shut her down. So, go ahead and mixture to get the engine off. Magneto's off as well. And for the prop to stop. Alright, prop is stopped. So we're shutting the lights off. And shut the plane down. And I'm going to take the headset off. Oh, I'm sitting here trying to talk and realize my microphone was muted. Like I had the wrong microphone muted. That was a pretty good flight. The last few minutes, last like 20 minutes of it, it felt like there was a pressure point between my headset and the top of my head, just pinching the top of my head, and it hurt. So I'm like, kept wiggling it with my hand. But I'm like, I don't know why I was doing that, so I'm going to take a look at that. That's kind of why I was like, I'm going to stop. I'm also hungry. I want to get some food. I'll definitely be doing some more streaming like this. I think I'm happy with the setup now. I think where we're at, stream quality wise, it's doable. I might be able to bump up the stream quality itself, get it back up to like 1080p, maybe? I don't know. But I'm definitely going to be doing a long flight next Saturday. And the whole plan was to do like a long flight this Saturday and then finish the flight to Austin, that long flight, next Saturday. I'm not going to do 2 6-hour long stints in the plane like that. I might reevaluate the flight plan and make it 3 days of flying, 3 legs. So it'll follow the same path that my motorcycle trip is going to take, but the stop and layover points are going to be different. The motorcycle trip is from Vegas to Santa Rosa, New Mexico, and then from Santa Rosa to Austin. That was originally the flight plan. I don't think this plane has the fuel range to go from Vegas to Santa Rosa. I think I can go as far as Albuquerque, and then I could top off and then go from Albuquerque to Austin from there. But if I make it maybe a little shorter, from Vegas to Flagstaff, and then from Flagstaff to Santa Rosa, and then Santa Rosa to somewhere else, that might be more doable streaming-wise, and within the capabilities of the aircraft. But I'm going to kind of take some look at some different flight planning programs that are out there, and get some more practice in this plane between now and then, and maybe I will do that flight on VATSIM with proper air traffic controllers and everything, which would be really cool to do. Really hard because I'm not good with ATC, but man, it's one of those things we'll see.